This took a total of about 4 hours. This is pretty much done. There's a little tweaking on a couple of these. What I usually like to do is be able to see individual layers leveled in between each other so we have good negative spacing. If the pads are encroaching on each other, I like to kind of divide them a little bit just so you can have that negative spacing. The late great John Naka said enough room for the birds to fly through. Artistically, I like that statement, but it's also a good horticultural practice because you get plenty of sunlight that gets in there and back buds further into the tree. This is the pot that I'm going to put in. There's a lot of YouTube videos on pot size, but typically what I like to do is the longest dimension, I go approximately 2/3 that. If it's a really large tree, I'll go a little bigger for a pot, but this one right here, if you look at the largest dimension, it obviously isn't the height, it's the width. If you look at the width, about 2/3 of that width is actually the pot. This is a great pot for this tree. I know a lot of artists up north like to put big giant trunks like this in a pot that's approximately the same depth. And I can respect that. It makes your trunk look more powerful. If you have a thick trunk in a thicker pot, it makes it look stable. But if you have a ficus that's really long like this and exaggerated, a thinner pot seems to enhance it more. If it's a really long, low tropical type of tree, if you put it in a really thick pot, it tends to just not look right. Although I will say a lot of the trees up north that have a lot of this deadwood, a lot of the junipers or the big giant black pines in the thicker pots, horticulturally it's also very important because you need the good drainage, and slightly deeper pots have better drainage than the really shallow ones. Also, they tend to make the trees look more powerful, but this is a ficus, it's a little different. Okay, I'm going to repot this, and then I'm just going to take some photographs of it and show you at the end of this. Thanks for watching, guys. Well, there it is. It's in the finished pot. I haven't cleaned it up completely yet. Pot, I mean, for viewing. We just put it in there. You can also see that it's not centered. Bonsai tree should never be in the center of the pot. It's also in the back half slightly, but it's such a large trunk. It's kind of, and there's multiple trunks. So what I typically do is do where the largest amount of mass is, which is right here, and focus on the center of that versus the center of the entire rootage. That's how I decide where to place it. Also, the whole top was kind of coming, although it has a crown, you can see the crown all moves toward the left, so we put it considerably toward the right to balance it. But looking at this versus the other pot, and I'll show you a picture of it, I think this pot harmonizes with this tree a lot better. Thanks for watching, everybody. Ficus microcarpa, Golden Gate, specimen size. Thanks.